What is up, folks? It's Andrew with MyWatchAddiction.com, and today we have another watch tour watch to take a look at with you guys. Today we're going to take a look at a Bradner from Spinnaker Watches. This compressor style case in this vintage style diver is something to take a look at, so stick around. The watch of the day is that Alpiner X from Alpina Watches, a hybrid smartwatch that I received in from their Kickstarter campaign. Now, if you did not see that unboxing, have no fear, because in the not too distant future, I'm going to come back and do a deeper dive into this watch and all of its functions and let you know what I think about it outside of that carpetbagger strap. I've got no other terms for it. It looks like an old carpet to me. Anyway, guys, if you have not seen my videos before and you want to follow us in the future, down there in the right-hand corner is that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that guy, and you'll be alerted every time I drop a new video. But that's not why we're here. Let's tear in and take a look at this Bradner from Spinnaker Watches. So we dive into this Spinnaker Bradner. You'll notice right off the bat, we've got two crowns right there. That's because this guy has a bi-directional internal rotating bezel. So a lot of times the bezels are on the outside of dive watches, but this, similar to a few of the watches that I've had in the past, actually has an internal bezel, which is controlled by that crown at the 2 o'clock position. The bottom crown controls the Seiko NH35 automatic movement that's in this watch, which incidentally is hackable and hand winding if you're not familiar with that movement, but it's a pretty popular movement among micro brand watch companies, especially at this price point. The size of this compressor style case is 42 millimeters in diameter with a 14 millimeter case thickness. So you can see added to that case thickness a little bit is that domed sapphire crystal. Bracelet width on this Spinnaker Bradner is 20 millimeters at the lug. And you can see this one obviously comes with that vintage styled red leather, say that 5 times fast, vintage styled red leather strap. This Bradner actually comes in a whole slew of different color combinations, but this specific execution is model number SP-5757-01. Now, if you look closely, and we'll see if we can get some better shots later at that dial, it's hard to see it, but it almost has a sunburst effect to that black dial. Of course, all of those raised indices and markers right there on the turning bezel do have Swiss Super Luminova on them, so this guy should have some awesome low light visibility. I'll post up some pictures in the end for you guys to be able to see. Now, being that this is a vintage style diver, this guy does have a 15 ATM water resistance, which is usually pretty good for free diving. If we flip it over right there, you can see that Spinnaker weight there on that Seiko NH35 movement, as well as the model number on the back as well. Now, I've worn this around a little bit, and this is actually a pretty comfortable watch for me to wear. With my 7¼ inch wrist, this 42 millimeter in diameter watch sits very, very comfortably. If you're wondering how much these guys are going for, MSRP on these is about $285 direct from Spinnaker, which isn't a bad price point given the build quality on these watches, as well as that Seiko NH35 movement that's in the back. The other thing that I think is really neat about this specific case is just those lines in that lug. So that brushed stainless steel lug right there, I kind of like angles and it's cool not to see it all rounded edges. But that angled edge on that lug, as well as the round case design, and of course that domed sapphire crystal, I think makes for a good looking combination. The one thing I'm going to note that I don't think you guys can get a full appreciation for on the video, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here, is the depth to this dial and just how raised those indices are. I mean, there's some height to those. So maybe that's a little bit better, but there's some definitely height to those, and it adds definitely a lot of dimension to the dial, especially with that internal bezel. So that was the Spinnaker Bradner from Spinnaker Watches. $285 for this vintage style compressor diver with internal rotating bezel and that Seiko NH35 automatic movement. Guys, Spinnaker Watches is one of those micro brand companies that I've taken a look at that thankfully does not play that MSRP markup game. I think $285 retail price for this. Obviously, you can get them cheaper if you're picking it up secondhand. Not a bad price at all for the build quality on these watches, as well as that Seiko NH35 movement. Anyway, guys, if you want to see this watch on my wrist or any other watches on my wrist on a daily basis, don't forget you can follow us at Instagram/watchaddiction.us. Thank you guys and have a great week.